Hi, I'm Joe. I've been rescued from a life of uncertainty. I'm originally from Southern Illinois. Was raised by my grandparents. They got my brother and my sister and I in church at a young age, which is good. We was involved in a lot of youth activities. Grew into good friends with the family of the church. As we grew older, the church moved out. Started running around the wrong crowds and just getting into the wrong group of people. Through my youth, I just developed some negative coping mechanisms, you could say. Started getting into drugs and alcohol when I was young, and it led on and kind of snowballed into that lifestyle. Got married at a young age, had my first daughter when I was around 21. Throughout my life, I continued with the drugs and alcohol. They ended up separating me from my family and friends many times. The last recent time was in 2015. My dearly grandmother had a little intervention for me, and I thought it would be best for me to kind of separate myself from the area that kept bringing me back around, to the same crowds and places. So I sought out some rescue missions. I first went to Kansas City, got really nervous, and kind of backed out of that situation. Then soon after that, I came here in September 2015. I remember speaking to my family. They was kind of worried about me being out in the streets and such, and they was like, if it gets to where you need to come home, you can come home. But after coming here and speaking to the staff and the directors, Lee and Brian, I was kind of comforted and felt quite a bit of a peace, while I was here. So I continued just seeking sobriety, taking what I could from chapel and the different churches that came through here. I worked for a little while in landscaping, had a good, there were several good men that came down here and would pick up residents from the mission here to do some work. Got to be, friends with some of the guys in the program, and I seen how they were just developing their testimonies at the time. And it was really influential, and it kind of inspired me to kind of reflect upon where I was at in my life, because as far as my uncertainty goes, it goes into very different areas of my life. I was just really had a lot of questions, and I was lacking kind of direction and just fulfillment in general. I really enjoyed the jobs I had, but there was still always something that I felt like I was missing. Throughout the program, I really found a sense of worth, a sense of direction, and just the different parts of the program, because there were several parts of it all worked together between the Bible studies and Celebrate Recovery for those who are suffering from addictions, and the counseling with the chaplain and the directors. It was working. I was pretty surprised at the time, and I remember talking to some family members and friends about my 4-month mark in my sobriety. I told them how I was really thinking that it was going to work this time. I continued on in the program, just kind of felt, just the Lord just helping me get through my problems, learning positive coping mechanisms, learning to share with others, and which was really good, because throughout our time in the program, we go to Celebrate Recovery on Monday nights. Through that, we have small groups to where we could share, what's on our minds and what are we struggling with. And in the past, a lot of times I would self-medicate and just use those coping mechanisms just to get by. But through the construct of the program, it just showed us, how through the Bible the Lord, wants us, wants better things for us, and just through all of that, I just learned just how I could have self-worth, how I could just grow, rededicate myself, and find the love that I lost through all the mess in my life. I remember, being in church when I was young and going door to door with my pastor and his son, and I remembered those feelings, and it was all began to lift and to grow. I decided to just keep pushing forward and and continue in the program, and it worked out very well. I graduated the program last August, started working immediately afterwards, and then I was working full-time actually, and was offered a part-time position as a staff in the kitchen, which I was kind of nervous about because I'm not always really good in the kitchen, but the Lord kind of carried me along in those ways. So it was pretty exciting. So I continued working and staying here at the mission. I spoke with the chaplain often and Brian often still, and we just kept talking about everything, about where I was going and how I felt working here and how my spiritual walk was. And it was always a growing and changing process, for the good. So I continued working in the kitchen on the weekends. I was called into the office, talked to John and Lee, and then they had a job opportunity. They offered me out at Victory Acres as the production manager. And I told them I remember in the past praying about going to Victory Acres, their program they had out there, but due to a recent surgery that I had, I was unable to go to the farm and work. But I told them that the Lord eventually brought me out there. So I've been working out at the farm for 5 months now, and it's great to see how there's developing testimonies every day, and I can see the men changing, and I can see how the Lord is working in their hearts and minds, and it's inspiring. It's a constant inspiration for me, just to be part of that. I've prayed several times just to say the right things and to lead by example for the other men of what I've been through, and how the Lord's revealed things to me throughout my walk and my journey, and just kind of brought me closer. It's been an inspiring walk, an inspiring journey, and it's not only just the staff who come around the men and help lift them up and be supportive of them, but there's also the body of the church that comes around here that I've come to meet and come to know through other Bible studies and other churches who come downtown weekly. It's those different people that come through and inspire us, men, every day, and just kind of lift us up to just keep going and keep pushing and just keep trying to do the next right thing. Still just working and trying to do my best right now, and try not to make any big decisions. Try to let the Lord kind of reveal to me on what to do next. I have been rescued.